Yes, I want to make some comments about Nnamdi Kanu, and I want to be very, very sincere. I repeat, I want to be very, very sincere with this Nnamdi Kanu's case. At the moment, it is very, very difficult for Tinubu's government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. With the way the case is now, it is very difficult for the government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case with Nigerian government is complicated. The word there is complicated. We should have avoided Nnamdi Kanu being kidnapped in Kenya by the Nigerian government. That is one of the gravest mistakes that we have made, the IPOB people have made. Nigerian government having access to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and bringing him to Nigeria, because don't expect that you will get justice under this system. The Nigerian government cannot even give its own people justice. It is somebody who they hate that they will give justice. Don't expect that, because I see so many people believing that Nnamdi Kanu will come out. Let's look at the case. Now, the only thing holding the federal government from convicting Nnamdi Kanu, like convicting him, is the government cannot explain how they were able to bring him from Kenya into Nigeria. The allegation is that the federal government kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, and that is where his counsel dwelt for so long, asking the federal government, prove to us, you cannot try Nnamdi Kanu, prove to us that this how you brought in this young man here. The government would say that he jumped bail. How did he jump bail? But you people went to his house. That was the argument. So they were stuck at that point, whereby the government is demanding that he must be tried. He committed terrorism. He attacked the government. He killed. He did all have you. But the Nnamdi Kanu Council were asking the government various questions, and we should have stayed here. We should have stayed here for us to accept that the prosecution council would tender its evidence. For us to go from asking the Nigerian government, how did Nnamdi Kanu, why did you kidnap Nnamdi Kanu? Because he that must come to equity must come with clean hands. So the federal government at this moment had no jurisdiction to try Nnamdi Kanu, because literally, look at what the Kenya government said. Literally, you went to Kenya and kidnapped somebody, and you are taking that person to court. You kidnap somebody. What jurisdiction, what morality, what right do you have to try that person when you committed a capital crime by kidnapping somebody in another country, in somebody else's soil? So that is where the argument stayed. From that place, I don't know how they convinced the council representing Nnamdi Kanu to start looking at how they are going to entertain prosecution evidence, presenting evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. Now, for them to defend now, it is a problem. For them to defend, let me tell you the gospel truth. We have made so many mistakes in this Biafra struggle, and it is not out of fashion. Yes, we are all human beings. We can make things right. Nnamdi Kanu is in a very, very dicey situation, I tell you. Now, why did he sack or let his lawyers go and let him defend himself? He's looking for a motion. He's trying to set up the Nigerian government so that it will be clear that the Nigerian government is persecuting him, that justice did not go on. Because if you allow that case to move on from where it is now, from the prosecution tendering its evidence, and you come to defend, they will jail Nnamdi Kanu. That is the reality. You see, it is not about emotions now. You see, when people use emotions, they fall into deeper pit. This is the reality. That is why you see there is a protest before the prosecution council will do whatever. That protest is strategic to whip sentiment. Because if you continue this case like this, there's no defense you want to put forward that the government will not find a way to find Nnamdi Kanu guilty. Shebi na the Nigerian government. And the Nigerian government, we all are saying that the judiciary is messed up. So this system, do you think that if really they wanted to do justice, to do justice with Nnamdi Kanu's case, Nnamdi Kanu should not be in the court in the first place. The Nigerian government, for kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu, reportedly, should be even paying Nnamdi Kanu, but the reverse is the case. They played. Buhari tried to name Nnamdi Kanu, but because they could not prove, Buhari's government could not prove, Binta Yanko and the government of Buhari, Malami and Co, could not prove that they brought Nnamdi Kanu legally into Nigeria. They could not. The court says, free this guy. They went to Supreme Court to overturn. You understand? If the government wanted to free Nnamdi Kanu, it is a small thing. But now it is dicey. If Nnamdi Kanu continues this case, 70% chance is that they may sentence Nnamdi Kanu. That is the bitter truth and reality. It is not about Nzobu breaking bottles left, right, center. Some of us, our brain, they work. And we tell ourselves the truth. I told you, me, I'm a full-fledged Biafran. I want restoration of Nigeria. And one of the reasons why I want restoration is because restoration will get us closer to having regionalism. Regionalism, then we can decide what we'll do with our future. Going to the farm, you don't go to the farm through one route. There are other ways you can achieve an Igbo nation or Biafra. I'm a Biafran person. I'm proud. If the Yoruba man can say it's Oduduwa, if the Hausa man can say it's Arewa, me, I'm a full-fledged. Everywhere I go, I carry it as a banner. I don't hide it. But that does not mean that when I see a particular situation, my brother, until something else happens, I stand to be corrected. I don't know everything. I'm just telling you what I see from the case. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a senior advocate. But I'm telling you what I noticed. The evidence presented in court. Do you know that there's many videos with the DSS? I saw a video with one Onyami. Onyami was saying that, you know, when they catch these people, these politically sponsored criminals in the southeast who mark themselves as IPOB and what have you, you know, when some people have an opportunity to pursue agitation, they use the opportunity to use that privilege for them to fight for Biafra, to do other criminal activities. And when they are being caught, they tag Nnamdi Kanu. Most of these guys on video, the DSS may not want to release everything, but they have videos that these guys are saying Nnamdi Kanu is this and that. So why would we allow ourselves to get in this place the first time, whereby we are asked to come and defending something that the government of the day does not have a jurisdiction? You have not proven to us that they legally brought Nnamdi Kanu into Nigeria. So you overlook that one and you're going to defend what? Defend what? We have not got to do that. If the government can sincerely own to its fault, then my hands are up. Whatever it is, let me tell you, your perception. I've said it before. We have the Nigerian army, we have the Biafran army. Those in the Nigerian army see the Biafran army as terrorists. Those in the Biafran army see the Nigerian army as terrorists. It depends when you are standing. Two different nations. They have two different ideologies. It depends where you are standing from and are looking from or looking to. Our today's politics, it is when my brother enter power, then I'll look for a way to amass Nigerian resources to benefit my own ethnic group. So in the eyes of my ethnic group, whether we steal, whether it's corruption, whether we are stealing, whether we are misappropriating, whether we are taking people's resources to develop ourselves against the development of others, it is right in our eyes. It depends on which ethnic group you belong to. That is the logic. Buhari as president, you saw the Fulani telling you that protest is haram. Protest, Fulani that is crying today, Fulani that even came out en masse during the end bad governance protest. So it depends where you are standing from. If you are an Igbo person that supports Biafra, because I don't see any reason why you think Biafra is not a good project. I don't see any reason. Nigeria is not working, cannot work. Nigeria is destroying the destinies of people. And you don't expect me to support a creation of the colonial masters, whereby they bring you together, they limit you, you fight yourself, and they upon that fight, you are fighting yourself, they are stealing your resources. Yes, they are stealing your resources. So it depends where you are looking from. But the mistake that was made by IPOB, you see, Nnamdi Kanu was missing for days. And you could not tell the people that this is where Nnamdi Kanu was at a particular point in time. You could not allow the people until Malami broke the news in Hausa language that they have captured Nnamdi Kanu. The IPOB aroused. That mistake was one of the gravest mistake ever. The gravest mistake ever. So when I see people say we must defeat the Nigerian government, my brother, it is not emotion. It is not online troll. The forces that are holding Nnamdi Kanu is bigger than Tinubu himself. The only way Tinubu can muzzle his power to release Nnamdi Kanu or have a political solution, that is my own speculation. I'm not an authority in that. I'm coming to give you my own speculation. What I think is when the Fulani or they want to collect power from his hand anyhow, then he says, okay, let's divide the country. He releases Nnamdi Kanu, and there's so much pressure on Nigeria to divide. He releases Nnamdi Kanu, he activates Sunday Igbo, and some other groups is activated. Nigeria will now have a position and stand. Yes, and regionalism comes into play. Yes, if you know the powers, even in the southeast, we have said it before that the governors will not want Nnamdi Kanu to be released, because Nnamdi Kanu's release now, they become relevant. Whether Nnamdi Kanu accept the conditions, because I believe there are conditions that is being presented to Nnamdi Kanu. I believe these conditions, they want him to drop the idea of a Biafra, because even a IPOB becomes president today. You see, the interest of Nigeria is even above the interest of any other country. That is why Wike's wife having dual citizenship is a big problem. The Supreme Court judge, Wike's wife, they say I think is American, or is it Canada or UK citizen. Where does your, as a Nigerian judge, where does your interest lie? As a Nigerian politician, where does your interest lie? You are a citizen of two countries. So even though IPOB becomes the president, it will be very, very difficult for IPOB to just release him like that. I'm telling you. You see, imagine the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu releases Nnamdi Kanu. Now that time you go no say this coup where they want to do, that the security agencies are telling us they are even misleading us. You know what I don't like about Nigeria is that the Nigerian government, they have all the tools, they have all the information with them, but they will decide to keep quiet and mislead the people, put the people in the dark. It is when journalists and analysts try to look at the body language of the government and try to bring out some realities. That's when you see them, they will come out and say, this is how it is. But you have the information to alert Nigerians, tell Nigerians the reality. You just be playing Nigerians, misleading Nigerians. My brother, the coup was real in the sense that people were arrested. They will play it, they will play down on it. Classified information. You saw that information that the DSS gave to the Nigerian army, that the ISWAP is coming to attack Ondo and Kogi states. The security agencies were angry that they leaked that information. These are the information that they got intel. Although I understand why they were angry. You see, if Tinubu decides to release Nnamdi Kanu today, my brother, you go see commando style of the Fulani and some elements that want Nigeria to remain the same way it is. Your politicians really don't want Nigeria to be structured until they are under pressure. I'm telling you, the West does not want Nigeria to be restructured. Restructuring has so many meanings. Whether it is resource control, whether it is regionalism, whether it is fiscal federalism, whether it is division of Nigeria, restructuring is restructuring. It depends on which angle you are looking at it from. The West don't want Nigeria to be restructured. Igbo leaders on Hanese, forget all this blabbering. They are blabbering up and down. They don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. They don't like restructuring. Because restructuring in Nigeria will relieve some people of their position in current day Nigeria. If Nigeria is divided today, Akpabio will not be Senate President of the Federal Republic. Wike will not be Wike. If they just divide Nigeria today or something happens and there's a consensus, referendum, people speak, and ongoing processes are going on to separate states and this and that, people build alliances, mark your borders and build government and everything. Sharp, they go carry cane, flog Wike, come up from FCT. Most of these politicians would not have their positions anymore, their influence anymore. And when you are dividing Nigeria or restoring Nigeria into these small components, they may not be even popular in these components. That is why most politicians, whether it's from the West, from the East and North, most of them don't want a restructured Nigeria that will rob them of their relevance, their influence in government, their popularity in politics, their network. Yes, that is one of the reasons. So it is complicated for Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu. Let's tell ourselves the truth. When I heard the news about Nnamdi Kanu kidnapped by the Nigerian government, I had a deep wound in my soul. Because I understand the position of the Fulani when it comes to Nnamdi Kanu's case. They are number one enemies of the Biafra struggles. Number one in this our current geographical location or expression, according to Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Number one. And number two, it is the British. I tell you, these are the reasons. So Nnamdi Kanu is in a very complicated, and I am tired. I am like looking at it from this angle. I know that I don't know the mindset. See, there are so many plots in this. There are things that are possible with Nnamdi Kanu's case. There are things that are not possible. I tell you, outright release, just drop the case and release Nnamdi Kanu. I don't think it is possible. What is possible with Nnamdi Kanu is, number one, the government may want to enter a compromise with Nnamdi Kanu, sign this document, this and that. You're going to drop this agitation. Like, don't do that. No, wherever it is, you're not disturb. Leaders in the Southeast will come and sign. Do not cause political tension. Do not undermine the sovereignty, the peace. Don't start the pressure groups that will want to cause division amongst Nigeria. You understand now? All those kind BB grammar where government go use. Maybe say they go slam treasonable charge on your head. Those people that went to protest, you say you want to overthrow Tinubu's government. That statement. Hey, some police, we had encounter with some police arresting bikes at late hour. You know what the police will do? They tell the bike, because if they want to collect money for your hand and you refuse giving them money, they'll say, now you be that armed robber will kill our police officer the other day. Oh yeah, they will hold your trouser. Can't they go sell? They will manufacture allegation against you. You say with a shock. That is what the Nigerian government does. The treasonable allegation. They will tell him all these things. Don't do, except he decides to reach a compromise. But Nnamdi Kanu have said that he has crossed the Rubicon. No turning back. And if he's going to come out of that detention or the cage of the government, he's going to come out victorious. Or he's going to even die there all he's saying that he wants Biafra. I saw the picture of Rror going to visit Nnamdi Kanu in prison. Sorry, at the court. They hugged themselves. And he told Nnamdi Kanu, you are coming out. So I don't know the plot twist, because if you're inside government, some government people, they watch us. They say, how did these guys know these things? Who is giving them information? If you're inside government, if you know the kind of the things that will happen, that used to happen, the setup that used to happen, you said we fear government. So things are possible. Somebody told me something. He said that the government of the day may want to convict Nnamdi Kanu and hold him in a place whereby he has no choice than to like give up the agitation. Convict him. Then they will give him papers to sign, he sign. Another thing, the person told me that Nnamdi Kanu is trying to look for sentiment. He wants to make Nigeria government look as the oppressor all over the world. He defends himself, and he may want to shout at the judge or do some kind of gra thing in court and everything. Maybe the judge has two things: the justice to excuse himself from the case, or he gives a judgment. And if he gives a judgment, it's like oppression. Nnamdi Kanu wants to make the world see see the Nigerian government as the oppressor, because at this point in time, it is, man. You know, Obatosho gave the impression that this case will be done with. They gave the impression that Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Maybe that's how they used to deceive the council, the defense counsel of Nnamdi Kanu. Maybe that's why they went on, because they were actually, they shouldn't have even started this case in the first place. Because at this moment, if you are looking at it, if you think there's a miracle with this, my brother, there's no miracle. You can see the protest. They arrested Nnamdi Kanu. They arrested Rror. I told you that such protests will not release the Nigerian government. I know such protests will not lead to the release of Nnamdi Kanu. I said it. It is not going to lead to any release. It's going to even complicate the more. See, the person that's supposed to even represent Nnamdi Kanu is in detention. All of a sudden, the council is no more joining Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is defending himself. There's a pattern. Hello? There is a pattern. Nnamdi Kanu defends himself. He shouts or he does this, my lord, this blah blah blah. Maybe the judge or the justice excuse himself from the case, or they give him judgment. When they give him that judgment, the Nigerian government will have a reputation of oppression. They are oppressing this guy. Nigerian government becomes the oppressor. Or otherwise, things. But Tinubu releasing Nnamdi Kanu and Nnamdi Kanu beating the federal government, the judicial system of Nigeria, it is something that is likely not to happen. So that's the reality. See, as a man, as a human being, it is better we face the reality. We tell ourselves the core reality. We need to re-strategize as Igbo people on this Biafra thing. These governors, these politicians that the Nigerian system has created for us, we need to fizzle them out in government. That is a very good start. We need to look home politically. Let's get involved politically. Let's do the political revolution in the southeast and have a template for ourselves. Because I've said it before, achieving Biafra has a lot of things you can do. As it is now, if Nigeria divides, the problems we are having will be transferred from Nigeria to the units. The units, whether it is Ijaw Nation, Biafra, or Arewa, or Yoruba Nation, or Oduduwa Nation. You think the Nigerians love themselves? Let them have. You think that Yorubas are united? Let them have Oduduwa Nation. You think that the Igbos are united? Let them have the Oduduwa Nation. You think that the Ijaws? So there are things we need to really work on, the homework we need to do as we prepare. Because, like I said, Nigeria is not designed to prosper. And it will not last. The Igbo nation will outlive the Nigerian system. Nigeria. The Yoruba nation will outlive Nigeria. They were there before Nigeria was created. And they will be there after Nigeria is being dismantled. The Ijaw Nation, most nationalities that are in Nigeria today will outlive Nigeria as it is. May God help us in this current quagmire.